She'll be back.
Hey Kia, how you doing?
I'm good, Albert. How's yourself?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Well,
Fantastic.
we're here to talk about this little movie right
Oh,
here.
you printed it
I
out.
just printed
That's my
it out.
film. Fantastic.
I'm actually gonna put it on the wall behind me.
Oh, wow. Up there with The Shining. I feel blessed.
Oh, I gotta say, this was a really good movie. I was not expecting it the way it was going, but I really liked how it starts out as a war movie, like a boot camp
Mm.
movie, and then it delves right into the shark stuff. And I think that level of intensity really made the film what it was.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, the boot camp stuff I feel was really important. In that for two reasons. I knew we were going to be trapped on a raft for like 70 minutes, which would visually, maybe get a bit boring. So I really wanted to open it up and have them in this beautiful, like sort of jungle landscape where we could really move the camera and have them sort of dynamically moving around in this like real, like sort of beautiful, gorgeous environment. Um, and also, we needed that time to have the characters bond so that they can bond as a group and learn sort of who they all are, and more importantly, really learn who the two co-leads are and who the antagonist is. And then, boom, you're in war and you're on the raft. Yeah, so that I think that opening 10 minutes like training sequence was very important. It was also important that we got through it quickly because people want to get to the shark. Like I know my business.
Well, I felt it was great. It reminded me of in a way, Full Metal Jacket, because it's
Oh,
that first part where it's all about the boot camp, and then it
yeah.
goes into the war. So I felt like that was important to bring that dynamic first. So as you mentioned, we get to know who the characters are and what they're a bit about their backstories.
Yeah,
And
you need to care about these characters before they start to get munched. It's very important from a writing point of view.
yeah, and then once they get on the raft, that's when we get to see, some of their true colors emerge. We get to see who
Yeah.
they really are. They're willing to do what it takes to survive. And the cast in this movie is phenomenal. I mean, they had such a natural sense of chemistry. What was it like working with them?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, I mean, with a film like this, half your job is casting. And one of my favorite, I mean, some of my favorite films are films like Alien and The Thing, where you've got like a small sort of theatrical group of people stuck in a single location, and if you cast correctly, and you make sure that you cast, like um, a lot of my actors do have theatrical backgrounds, so like they're very good, doing that kind of ensemble kind of theatre work because this is kind of it's a very theatrical idea where you've got people trapped in a small space. It's more like a play, really, with a shark in it. Um, and yeah, like the lead, Mark Cole Smith, he wasn't really cast. I wrote it for him, and would have been very worried if he had said no because I don't think there's anybody in this country that could have pulled it off the way he does. He's got that kind of Gary Cooper-esque star quality where he can do the rugged hero, but he can also do humor and joy, and he does all his own stunts. And yeah, it was very difficult casting Joel Nankervis, who played Will. We needed somebody who looked 17, who could sort of portray reluctant intelligence, and who could, show the arc from like this scared little kid to becoming a man throughout the film. And it was very hard to find him, but we did find him in the end. I was very happy with that. And Sam Delich, who played Des, was fantastic too.
Oh yeah.
I'd originally written him as this mountain of a man, like a real huge bully. But when his audition tape came in, I was just like, oh, this is the guy. He doesn't have to be
Yeah,
this massive dude. He can be kind of a
exactly.
smaller guy, more like Begbie from Train Spotting, like a
Yeah,
small
he had
man
that
with
intent.
menace and
Like
a
he
knife.
brought that intensity to that role, especially when
Oh,
he's in
he's
the
very
boot camp
intense. Yeah.
and he's fight.
Yep.
He has that little fight scene, and you can see like the level of like the cunningness that he brought to that role. Like he's
Yeah.
just crazy at times. Like
Yeah. There's nothing scarier than a small, angry man. That's the guy that's going to shiv you in the back.
yeah, what I really liked was I know as of late the shark theme is becoming like really relevant again. Everyone's loving these shark films where people stuck in the ocean. But my question is, what made you decide to set this film during the war? Because I feel like that's totally something unexpected, and I feel like in a way that brings a fresh element to the genre.
Oh, well, look, I'll be honest. Like I grew up watching Jaws. I've probably seen it like 50 times. And the USS Indianapolis speech by Quint, like I've just been waiting for somebody to make that film properly, but do like a proper actual Spielberg adventure film. The great thing about Jaws is it's a brilliant film, but it's an adventure film. It's like this David Lean-esque, kind of, it's like Lawrence of Arabia with a shark. And so it had been a while since I'd seen anybody approach the shark genre like that. Everybody does these like little like horror versions or like a sort of B movie version or like like a paranormal activity documentary style thing, and I'm just like, can somebody do a David Lean Spielberg-esque kind of adventure movie? And so we were trying to do that on a very low budget, obviously. But yeah, I knew we couldn't do the American version because that's an $85 million film. And so I did a bit of research and realized that, there was a true story that occurred, halfway between Darwin and Timor in 1942 in Australia, where the HMAS Armidale was sunk by Japanese Zeros, and hundreds of men went in the water, and a lot of them were eaten by sharks, and a lot of them were never seen again. And I was sort of inspired by that true story. And so I did a lot of research into that real event and sort of was inspired by a lot of those elements when I went to write this screenplay. And so, yeah, it is an original idea, but it's not my idea. it was Spielberg's idea, and it was a thing that actually happened, and I'm just the idiot who kind of got inspired by those two things.
That's awesome. Like I said, this brought something fresh to it because I'm always seeing, tourists going on these vacations, and then they get, stuck in the middle of the ocean, and that's when the sharks start to surround them. And I felt like this was a fresh something brought fresh to that genre. And
Well, we've had 20 of those movies. We don't need another one, And so,
exactly.
yeah, like if you're gonna approach a genre that has been torn apart by vultures, it's like when you're gonna make a zombie film. You can't just make a zombie film. You have to have a twist. And so when went to make my zombie film, I was like, oh, like what if we took the zombie apocalypse idea and then aesthetically melded it with Mad Max? And what if the zombies breathed a substance that you could use as fuel for your Mad Max vehicles? And I'm like, okay, that's a twist. I've not seen that film. Let's do that. And so we were kind of trying to do that with sharks on this one. Like we had to have a new and original idea. And the idea of these guys stuck in World War II being, strafed by planes from above and hunted by a great white shark from below. And they need to jump. They've got all this debris floating in the water from the exploded
Yeah.
warship, and they need to jump from debris to debris to debris to get to a motorboat to bring the motorboat back to hopefully attach the engine to their raft in order to get back to Darwin. I'm like, well, that's just the scariest game of the floor is lava that's ever been played. And I'm like, yeah, I'd watch
Yeah.
that movie.
So how long did shooting take on this film, and did you face any like technical issues during shooting at all?
Um, we had a week in the jungle, and then we had 5 weeks on the raft in the studio in the tank, and just the time was non-negotiable. So it had to work, and we were just very lucky in that we've got this amazing crew, and the cinema gods kind of smiled on us a little bit. So when we needed the shark to work, it worked, and when we needed the tank to not leak, it didn't leak. And things just seemed to fix themselves in time for us to get through it in the time we had. And there's a little bit of luck involved, but like I have to take my hat off to the Australian crew who just worked their butts off. Like I've just never really seen anything like it. I've seen the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings and watched all those New Zealanders smash it, from a production point of view. And like this is the first time where I'm like, oh yeah, Australians can do that too. We really we had a vision that was like far bigger than our budget, and these legends pulled it off for me. I was very happy.
That's awesome. So what's next for you after Beast of War? Is there any new projects that you can talk about?
I'm doing another World War II film. It's set on the Eastern Front, and like it's these a small group of characters have to travel through like a dark fairy tale European forest, and there might be some monsters involved. Who knows? But yeah, it's like it's back to kind of World War II uniforms and machine guns for me. I just loved being in that world so much. I'm like, I want to do another war film. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully, we'll be shooting that January, February of next year.
Oh, that's awesome. Everyone, Beast of War is coming out on October the 10th. You got to see this movie. I mean, especially those who love Jaws and shark movies, they're going to see something fresh with the fact that this is set in World War II, and now knowing that this is based on true events, that you're going to have to definitely check this one out. And Kia, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it. I had a blast.
I really appreciate it, man, and thank you, Albert, for choosing to talk about this film. Because the more it's talked about, the more people will go and see it, and then if more people go and see it, I get to make another film. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Well, you, as always, you stay awesome.
Will do, sir. You too.
Take care.
See you, mate.